Welcome to Learnit Training. The exercise files for today's course are located in the video description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Joe and I'm going to be facilitating this course for you today. Today we're talking about Copilot with Outlook. Now Outlook is everything to me. Every single day I have to go through and look at my communications. It's my main source of communicating to my team. And also my main source of communicating with outside vendors for my team. So what Copilot's going to do for us is it's going to allow us to summarize our emails so that we don't have to read all the way through them. And it also does a lot of coaching so that our emails sound very professional and we can even draft emails with Copilot. We're going to learn about all this today in this course. I hope you enjoy it.
Looking to support our channel and get a great deal? Become a member today to unlock ad-free videos. That's right, your favorite courses without a single ad. Interested in a specific video? Purchase one of our ad-free courses individually. Looking for even more? Gain access to exams, certificates, and exclusive content at LearnitAnytime.com. More information can be found in the video description below.
Now, I do want to note that before we can even get into our Copilot for Outlook, we need to understand what Copilot is. But even before that, you'll see here that I'm using the new Outlook. Now, most of you might be using still the classic version of Outlook, and you do have an option to either turn that on or off. You'll notice that I do have my toggle point right here at the top, and I can turn that off. And even though Copilot does exist in the classic version, it actually only offers for coaching and summarizing. It doesn't allow for you to draft actual emails. You can only do that in the new Outlook. Now, I have seen the draft with Copilot in the classic, but they removed it recently. So I don't know if that's just something on my end or maybe a certain version. So if you do see it, that's great. Then you do have drafting with Copilot. But for this training, I am using the new Outlook. And as of right now, that's the only one that has draft with Copilot. But with that said, let's actually get into what exactly is Copilot. Copilot is a powerful add-in tool for Microsoft Excel that allows users to automate repetitive tasks, improve efficiency, and also save time. Now, it utilizes machine learning and AI technology to analyze your workflow and then suggest code snippets based on your specific needs. And with Copilot, you can automate data manipulation, formatting, calculations, and so much more without actually needing extensive programming knowledge. Now, a couple things with Copilot is the way that it comes out with outputs. An input is when you ask it a question, and then the output will be the result or the answer to that question. And the way that it randomizes this is known as stochastic process. Now, stochastic process in AI models can lead to slightly different results each time the model is run. So even though we put in the same input, right, I can say, hey, how much does this equal out to, my total sales? It might not be word for word the same exact output. And this is often what is desired, right? We often want randomness so that none of us have the same answers. So just know that if you're following along with this video, that you will never get the same answer as me. Unless it's something really straightforward like, give me the total sales that I've made. It will give you the total sales. That's not random. But if you asked it to give you insights, it might give you something totally different than the insights it gives me. Another thing is a couple of the pros and cons of using Copilot. So we're going to start off with the pros. Productivity boost, right? It aims to enhance productivity by automating various tasks such as writing emails or creating presentations or even taking meeting notes, which is great. We can also integrate it with Microsoft Suite, which is what we're doing today. We are going to be looking at Excel's version of Copilot. We also have to understand that it's a natural language process, which means we're able to just put in inputs naturally and then we get results. And the best part about Copilot is learning and adaptation. It's always designed to learn from our user interactions. So the more questions we ask over time, it starts to understand how we think about our data. Now, some of the cons of using Copilot are, first off, potential bias and inaccuracies, right? Of course, this is a new technology, so sometimes it might generate inaccurate information based on the data it was trained on. And you'll notice that throughout the course that sometimes I might not get the exact answer I want, and I need to teach it what I want. You also see here that there's an adoption and learning curve. As with any new technology, you're going to have to get used to using the interface or even certain input commands that you're going to ask it or certain prompts that you want to look at. So that's why this video is going to be super helpful for you, because it's going to allow for you to understand those learning curves. And last but not least, ethical concerns, of course. It's an AI assistant, so we want to make sure that we're not just using it to generate misinformation or plagiarize content. Now, the last quick note before we actually dive into this is that Microsoft Copilot is still in development, and its final capabilities, the pricing, availability is yet to be determined. So as with anything else that is AI powered, it's crucial to approach it with a critical mindset, right? We want to be sure that we're maintaining our privacy and security. We're going to comply with any of our company's rules, right? And this AI is definitely not a replacement for human expertise or decision making. So we are actually using it as a tool, not a replacement. In Outlook, you'll find the Copilot pane up in the top right-hand corner. If you go to the top right-hand corner, you'll see the actual Copilot symbol, and you'll give that a click. Once you click on that, it's going to open up the pane where it'll give you a couple of different prompts that you can use, like understand, tell me more about a topic within my emails, or find a file that a person shared with me last week, or maybe find a conversation I had. Also stay on top of, summarize some recent emails. You can try using one of those prompts, or you can just use any type of prompt. Maybe I want to understand more about pitch book news, because they send me a lot of emails. So what it's going to do is gather the resources from my inbox, and let's take a look at what it comes up with. So now it's combining all those documents and emails that they found that's going to be relevant to this. And look how cool this is. So it says PitchBook News is a newsletter that provides information on venture capital. Okay, well, I didn't really know that. I usually just skip through PitchBook because I don't know exactly what it is. So you'll see here now I'm getting some information. So it looks like it's just a newsletter that I'm signed up for. You'll see here that it does have references, so I can quickly reference those emails and click right to it, which is pretty cool. And then I'll open up the online version. And look at this. So now I'm looking, I got this today, the 15th. I'm going through. Awesome. And then you can just exit out and go back to your desktop version. So that's a really awesome thing that we can do here with Copilot, is understand why we're getting certain emails from certain companies. Another thing that's really awesome is being able to find something. If you can't find a certain email, like maybe I want to say find something or find the email that mentions 6 types of working geniuses. Remember, I got that email, but I can't find it. So once again, it's going to go through all the resources, go through all my emails. Let's see if we can find it. So for this one, it couldn't find it. You'll see that sometimes this doesn't work. I do see it right here, the 6 types of working genius. So let's try that again. You might have to do the prompt multiple times. Always remember that this is a very young version of Copilot. It's brand new, so it's not going to always work the best. But that doesn't mean that you can't try the prompt again, or maybe change the wording of the prompt. And always remember, you're going to get a different output than anyone else. It's randomized. So I'm going to run this prompt again, see what happens. And once again, it might not work, and there we go. So I'm sorry, but I couldn't find any emails that mention the 6 types of working geniuses. And well, if I click here, it's right here. So no worries if it doesn't find it. And you can always just play around with these different prompts, whether you want to find something or stay on top of something or understand something, and see what you can do in your email. Let's say that I'm working on an email here that I want to read through, but I know there's a lot to read through. So let's actually find one that has a lot of information in it. Okay, here we go. This is an email with a lot of information. I'm going to close out my Copilot. And you'll notice that when you do have Copilot inside of your Outlook here, it will always have above the email summarized by Copilot. So I'm looking through and there's just a lot to read through. I don't want to read through all this. So instead, I'm going to click Summarize by Copilot or Summary by Copilot. It's going to scan this entire email, look for some of those key points, and then it's going to go through, pull me a nice little summary, and I don't have to read this entire email. I could get a little more out of the summary and save some time. So right here, it says the email thread is a newsletter from PitchBook News discussing various topics in VC, PE, and MA industries, and then gives me a little bit more of information. And this is perfect. This could take me about 1 minute, maybe a minute and a half to read and understand, instead of reading through all of this information that probably has a lot of filler in it. So Summary by Copilot is going to save you so much time. Let's do one more. Let's say that I'm looking at this one. That's not really too much. I'm going to find one with a lot of information. Okay, here we go. I don't want to really read through all this, so let's see what the summary looks like. So it's going to go through. It doesn't even take that long. That's the best part about this. And look at that, boom. So this one's talking about the Microsoft Build session. It's being offered and extended until April 12th. It's offering 300 off, pretty good. And then the event will take place in Seattle, May 21st to the 23rd. Pretty amazing. And it also includes featured sessions, breakouts, and labs. That's amazing information all in one quick summary. So this is going to be something that will truly save you time inside of communication in your outbox. Another favorite thing with Copilot and Outlook is Draft with Copilot. The reason I love it so much is because it helps me to write amazing emails. Let's say that I want to create a new email. So I'm going to go up to New, Mail. So I'm going to send a new email, but I don't know exactly what I want to write. For instance, maybe I want to talk about the new AI, Copilot. But I don't know exactly what to write about Copilot because there's so many great things to say about it. You'll notice that when you do have Copilot, right here is where you can draft with Copilot. And you can click here and you'll get this little prompt where you can say, what do you want to say in this email? You can access Draft with Copilot here, or if you go to your ribbon, you should have a Copilot section now. Give that a click, and you'll see you'll have Draft with Copilot or Coaching by Copilot. Now, once again, if you do have the classic version of Outlook, you may only have Coaching by Copilot. I am in the new version of Outlook, which you should be able to toggle on or off. If you don't see Draft with Copilot, that's the reason. If you are in the Classic and you see it, well then that's a great thing. I know when I was in Classic I did see it, but then it disappeared, so I don't know if they're only switching to having users that have the new Outlook can have access to it or not. So we're going to use Draft with Copilot, and I'm going to say that in this email, I want to talk about the benefits of using Microsoft Copilot. And I'm going to generate an entire email now about this. So it's doing its thing, creating a draft, and look how amazing. Ready? I hope this email finds you well. I want to share with you some benefits of using Microsoft Copilot. It is an AI-powered coding assistant that can help you write code faster with fewer errors. It can also provide context-aware suggestions and help you learn new programming languages and frameworks. It's a great tool that can save you time and improve your coding skills. Pretty amazing. Now you can choose to change some stuff. So if I'm like, I don't really care about the whole coding thing here, I can select it and say anything you like to change, and then I can choose it. But one of my favorite things is edit prompt. You can make it longer, you can make it shorter, make it sound more formal or more direct. You can make it sound like more casual, or even make it into a poem. Pretty awesome. I'm going to choose to make it sound more, well, first off, I want to make it a little longer. So let's do that. And then I'm going to make it sound a little more casual because I'm trying to talk to my friend. And look at this. I hope this email finds you well and you're having a great day. I'm writing to you. Gives me a little longer information. But now what I'm going to do is make it sound more casual. And there we go. Let's create the draft. Awesome. Now, when you do get the make it more casual, right, you get different options, by the way. So you'll see here, this is option 3 of 3 that it's showcasing us. So you can read through this, say, hey, hope you're doing well and having a nice day. Hope this email finds you well, you're having a great day. I hope this email, and it's a lot shorter. So you'll see all the different prompts that you've been going through, and you can now see, okay, this is the first thing I started with. Now I made it longer, that's the second thing. Then I made it sound more casual. And you have choices. You can then choose to keep whichever one. I'm going to keep this one. And there it is. We have now created an AI-powered, AI-generated email. And we just saw how we can draft with Copilot, which is an amazing tool. But some people don't like that AI can just write something for you, and they'd rather write an email themselves. Let's say that I'm writing an email. I decide I don't want to use Copilot. I just simply want to write my own email in my own words. So I'll say, hello, I hope you are good. I wanted to tell you a little about the new Copilot. It's really cool. You should try it. Alrighty. I am going to showcase a quick demo. So this isn't really like a great email that I would write. There's nothing really to the point about it. But what I can do at this point is go to Copilot and use coaching by Copilot. It's going to analyze the email that we have, review the tone, the clarity, gather some of those insights, and it's then going to generate the suggestion of what could I have done better to write this email. So let's see. So it's saying, this email is friendly and casual, but it can also be a little more professional and appropriate. So it's telling me that my tone isn't that good. I shouldn't be saying things like should, cool, alrighty, and it's giving me those suggestions. For example, start your email with dear or end it with sincerely. So it's pretty great. Pretty great suggestion. That email was definitely not a good tone. Then it says engage your reader more. The email shows enthusiasm and interest for the new Copilot, but it can also engage the reader by making them more curious and excited about the tool. Tell them more about Copilot. Use descriptive and specific language to highlight some of the advantages of Copilot. So it really is coaching me on what to do better. It's not telling me, hey, switch this out or you have to write this. It's just simply using those suggestions for us. So clarity as well. It's saying this email is too brief and concise, but it should also be more organized and structured. So the email is a demo of the new Copilot, which is complex. You might need more explanation and demonstrations. I really do love the Coach by Copilot. I use it a lot because I don't always want Copilot to just write my emails for me. Even though that's a really awesome feature with Copilot, sometimes you just want to express yourself in your own way. So getting this coaching by Copilot helps me to figure out, okay, which tone should I use? Make sure I engage my reader, make sure that the message is clear. One of my favorite things about Copilot is how much they have to offer in terms of prompting. So when you ask it to do something, whether it's to summarize an email or if you go over to the pane and you ask it to find something, these prompts are amazing. But there's always prompts being made, and you can find these other prompts in what's known as Copilot Lab. Now you do have to sign into your 365 account and go to your Copilot section there. And then once you're there, you'll see all the different prompts in the Copilot Lab. So open up your web browsers, go to office.com, sign into your 365, and then you should see on the left-hand side your Copilot. Once you're there, you'll then be able to access Copilot Lab. Now that we're in Copilot Lab, this is where we can explore the in products. So where Copilot exists, for example, 365, Word, Teams, Outlook, PowerPoint, Excel, even in OneNote or Windows, Loop, Whiteboard, or Forms. You'll see all the prompts to try. And remember that Copilot Lab is here to teach us what sort of prompts exist. Now in the prompts to try, we can save prompts by clicking the little ribbon icon. And we can quickly save a prompt. So if I want to save this one, just click it, and now I have all my saved prompts here. So that's a nice little flag system. Right next to it, you'll see we can filter for whatever app we're using this for, whether we want only Excel or Word or even Outlook prompts. And then what sort of category do you want? What prompt? Do you want to create something or edit it or understand it, ask questions about it, or even just catch up and get summaries? You'll notice that when we're looking at the prompt, it'll explain what the prompt is, a nice little category, what's new, and then you can see an example of what you would write for the prompt. You'll see in the bottom left-hand corner what the prompt is coming from, so which application. In this case, this would be Microsoft 365. This one's a OneNote prompt. This one's an Outlook prompt, a Loop prompt. And you can go through and find PowerPoint. And this is also what's really cool about this system is that you're learning, right? So if you're like, how do I add an image to a slide? It'll showcase add an image of, and then you can say, for example, a puppy dog to the slide. So if you don't remember that, you can always just save this and then use them later on in your applications once you're there. And there's so many different ones like Shape, that's a pretty cool one. Microsoft pre-created a bunch of these for us. We can click on show more, and there's just so many different ones. Now, once you go through the different prompts and you choose which ones you want to save and use inside of Copilot in those applications, you can then go back to the app and start using them. You'll see down here we do have a couple of articles for quick tips for better prompts. So summarize this email in 2 bullet points. You'll see that you're giving more detail and you're specifying that you want 2 bullet points. That's something that we're going to learn about for Copilot is that we need to really be specific on what we're asking it because, well, it's still a computer, right? We're still talking to computer language. Underneath it, we have FAQs. What is Copilot prompt? Or what can I get done with Copilot? How can I get the best responses or results? You'll see a bunch of different articles here. Now going back to the top, you can go into the Get Started, and there's so many different ones. They have for home users, business leaders, or for admins. Let's say that I'm a business leader, and I click into that. If you notice, the service is unavailable right now. So these are services that are starting to come out slowly. There are slow rollouts. So just, be patient with it. You'll see this one's still unavailable. And I believe admins is unavailable too. Oh, no, they finally got the admins up. So just wait for the business leaders. That should be coming out soon. And then we'll see here Microsoft Copilot 365 documentation. Get ready for Copilot with 365. Get started with, manage it, get trained on. So they have so many different resources for you to take a look at and utilize. Another thing that's really important with Copilot that I always say is the plugins. This is going to plug into different apps and integrations, not only with just Microsoft, with other technologies as well. So take a look at some of the things that are coming up. And once again, end user Copilot resource, Copilot Lab is one of those resources. This lab is where you meet Copilot, you understand what it can do, you can see it in everyday apps. And those are, once again, those prompts, and you can click the little save prompt. So this is more like that main page here. This is the landing page for Copilot Lab, but it's pretty much the same. If you go to prompts to try, it'll just bring us back to where we were. What's new? That's always something that's important. I'm always reading up on the latest updates for Microsoft Copilot. You'll see here prompts of the month. What were the most important ones, or what were things that weren't working that they've now updated? Transform a doc into a presentation. That's a really cool one. And you can upload document files. We'll actually talk about this in one of our other classes when we get into using Copilot with Word and also using it with PowerPoint. But as you can see here, improvements based on our feedback. Before we talk about how you can submit feedback, it is important. Remember, this technology is young still, so we need to really express what's working or not working for us to make sure that Copilot can evolve into the tool that we need it to be. You can take a look at some of the previous updates as well, our February updates, January, December. Just click on the little carrot icon, and you'll see all of them. And I just love the way that they display like all of the icons. You know that this is specifically for Word. It tells you, what it's for. We're actually going to be talking about Word for the web. So transform your text into a table. This looks like it's only available for Word for the web, so not for the desktop app. That's another thing that's really important with using Copilot. There's going to be different things that work in the online version versus the desktop version. And there we go. So always remember that this is still Copilot Lab. We can have all the same tabs up top. We can switch between prompts to try, getting started. Remember, For Business Leader is one that's not available right now, but it will be rolled out sooner than later. And there you go. The online version of Outlook is identical to the new Outlook, with a couple of new tools up top as well. It's the same way that you would use Outlook in the desktop or the online version. You can access the pane. You can click on an email and summarize it, or you can even go to New and create new mail and either use Draft with Copilot or Coaching. So there's no difference between the online version of Outlook with Copilot or the desktop version. If you're using the classic version of Outlook, then of course the online version is going to look a lot different. So if you do want to use the online version of Outlook, you should have access to both drafting and coaching. So for those of you that have the desktop version in classic mode and you don't see Draft with Copilot, always remember that you can go in to the online version and you should be able to find it here. As you can see, Copilot is so amazing and there's so much you can do with it. I hope you all enjoyed this course, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks.
Thanks for watching. To earn certificates and watch our courses without ads, check out LearnitAnytime.com.